You're listening to Garibaldi Red, a Nottingham Forest podcast brought to you by Nottinghamshire Live.
Hello and welcome to Garibaldi Red from Nottinghamshire Live. My name is Matt Davies and I'm here with Sarah Clapson to look back on Forest's 2-0 defeat to Barnsley, another defeat at Barnsley. Sarah, well, what did you make of it overall then?
Well, I'm fed up of coming to Oakwell, I can tell you that. Feels like we're always here and it's always the same end result. It was a pretty good performance, I thought, from Forest today. I thought they actually played quite well. They just didn't take their chances, and it proved costly in the end. They had some really good ones. I think Guerrero will be absolutely kicking himself in the dressing room afterwards because he probably had the best opportunities, just couldn't put them away. And Forest were punished for it right at the end. It was a really good strike from Barnsley in the first one to put them in front, and then obviously they got the second one, a bit of a soft goal to concede. But I think it was harsh on Forest, that final scoreline. They deserved to get something from it today, and they just didn't take their chances.
If you've got comments or questions for Sarah, put them in as ever, and I'll put a few to her. Who was culpable then? I mean, I followed it along. It sounds like Guerrero had two big chances at 0-0. Obviously, Barnsley hit the bar as well. So is it as simple enough as just saying Guerrero should have scored or not?
He had the best chances for sure. But Forest did have a few more. I mean, Ryan Yates had one ruled out. Joe Lolly forced a save. Lyle Taylor forced a decent save. I mean, equally, you could say that Barnsley hit the bar 3 times. So Forest were a bit lucky in that sense. But I thought generally, in terms of the play, Forest had the better of it. They did quite well. It's a really difficult one to take. I think it's just that kind of final bit in the final third that's holding them back really. But there were positive signs. I think they could come out of today and feel that they can take something from it, even though they've got nothing to show for it in the end. I know they were quite downbeat afterwards, but you know the next game's soon upon them, so they'll have to pick themselves quite quickly anyway and move on. That's kind of the good thing, I guess, about this run now, that it's just game after game after game. So there's no time to dwell on results or performances. You're soon on to the next one, and the next one's a big one.
One thing that surprised me was Barnsley made the 5 subs, which was available to Houghton. I don't know how many he made in the end, but he did leave it quite late. I don't know if it was 1 or 2. Were you surprised by the lack of changes? Because it did seem to benefit Barnsley as the game wore on.
Yeah, I guess it's a difficult balance to take now that you've got the option to make the 5 substitutions. It must be difficult when you're there as a manager thinking, well, I've got all these changes to make, and you're trying to pick and choose your time, and you don't want to upset the balance. And like I say, Forest actually were playing quite well. And when you make substitutions, sometimes you run the risk of disrupting that. I think if you look at the bench, Forest didn't have too many attacking options, really. They obviously brought Luke Freeman on. There was Sammy Amiobi on there, who obviously could have come on and maybe helped out. But other than that, Cafu, not too many options, really, in terms of trying to change the game and get a goal from it. I think if you're Chris Houghton and you're looking at your substitutes, you're thinking, well, we're playing quite well anyway. The attacking players were doing all right, creating chances, and you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to disrupt that just for the sake of making substitutions. I think sometimes that's the danger, particularly now you can make so many that you think, well, I feel like you've got to make substitutions, and it doesn't always work. I'm not sure that Forest could have brought anybody else on really that might have made a difference, other than Amiobi. Like I say, he might have done something, but I don't think you could put it down to that alone.
Let's put a couple of comments up. One from Sonny Reid here that Barnsley played well. Another one saying same old, could have, should have. There's a couple here along the same theme about the central midfield balance, where Forest are falling down. I mean, where do you think Yates and Colback can actually play together or not?
I think they can. I'm just not entirely convinced about it at the moment. I think it doesn't it doesn't quite give them that balance that they want. I don't think either of them played particularly badly. It's just that it doesn't give you that impetus, if you like, for going forward and trying to get on the front foot. I like Harry Arter in there. I think he works quite well. Him and Yates have done all right together. But like I say, it's not that Jack Corbock or Ryan Yates played badly, because they didn't by any means. It's just maybe that the balance isn't quite right. It's something that they'd have to work on, I think, or that they do need to work on. But yeah, it's a difficult one to take.
What was the mood like from Houghton afterwards then in his press conference?
I think he was disappointed. You could see he was gutted by it because they had played well and they did deserve to get something out of it. I think he was the first goal. He kind of mentioned, well, it was a great strike. There wasn't a lot you could do about it, and that really won Barnsley the game. I think the second one was a bit sloppy, but Barnsley had already pretty much got the 3 points by then because it came so late. That goal, it was always going to be difficult for Forest to come back into it. I think it's difficult to try and find a way to work on that scoring goals, because, like Chris Hughton said afterwards, that they've kind of done about as much as they can on the training pitch. It's about confidence more than anything. When you've got somebody like Guerrero going through, he needs to have the confidence to put that ball away, and that's probably not. You can't do too much about that on the training ground. Once he gets one, that'll give him a massive boost, and you'd hope that then if another opportunity comes his way, he might have more confidence to take it. It's just kind of getting that first one, I think, from him. And also, their goalkeeper played really well. You have to kind of give credit to him because he made some really good saves. It seems to be at the minute that in games, Forest come up against goalkeepers that have absolute blinders and pull off some cracking saves.
I suppose the knock-on effect from this one now is they go to Bournemouth, which is going to be difficult, and then after that, I can't remember, is it Norwich or Watford or whoever? It's difficult run of games, and now they do need to bounce back quickly from this, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they play quite a few of the 5 or 6 of the top 6, I think, in the next few games that they've got. They are really tough ones, but Forest have a tendency to lift themselves against those top sides and up their game and go to places and get results that you don't think they will. So I wouldn't rule them out going to Bournemouth and actually getting something from it. They might even sneak a win, but it's going to be difficult. It is going to be really difficult. Bournemouth are a good side. Chris Hughton said afterwards tonight that he thinks that they've probably got one of the best squads, if not the best squad in the division. So it's going to be tough, absolutely. It's a really difficult run, and it's kind of non-stop now. This is where the squad's going to come into effect because the games are just coming thick and fast, and the balance that Chris Hughton has to strike is whether you rest players and disrupt any momentum that you build, but you've got to kind of pick and choose when you make those changes, I guess.
Let's finish with a couple of fan comments, and we'll let Sarah go. Kieran Tolson saying that they played well, need strengthening in January. Maurizio Volgarino says we need a number 10. You can see what Cook did with Bournemouth today. And where shall we finish? Owen Bailey, on your substitute comment about a lack of attacking options on the bench with Mighton. I think Martin's been injured, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know if is Martin fit, Sarah?
They did point out afterwards that I think he had an injury previously, only recently, and he's just kind of on his way back from that. Nothing serious, but yeah, that's why he wasn't on the bench.
Okie doke. Right, we're going to let you go because I'm going to say it's a long journey back. It's a relatively long journey back, and you're bound to get.
It is when you've lost.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Right. Thank you very much to everyone who watched along, and thank you to Sarah for joining us. We'll be back with a full Garibaldi Red podcast next week on Wednesday with a former Forest manager, so that should be good. Sarah, safe travels back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone. We'll see you soon.